Friends, it is Sunday in the midst of the coronavirus crisis. Coronavirus crises, hope things will improve soon. You might as well be perhaps going on the YouTube with Stash today. Today, as promised in previous YouTubes, we will go over the obscure but not so obscure subject of Zoroastrianism, a religion of the area of the world formerly known as Persia. This will be actually primarily, I guess, a rap about a review of the book Original Magic, The Rituals and Initiations of the Persian Magi by Stephen Flowers. Stephen E. Flowers, PhD. This is an incredible book. It gives you a good breakdown of the history of Zoroastrianism, as well as for people who are now into it, practicing the actual rituals and getting into it. The three wise men who visited the Nativity, the three Magi, the three wise men, the biblical characters were Zoroastrian, Mazdan, wise men. The Mazdans. The Mazdans, that's a name for magicians with the wise man, the priestly caste. This is a very, very old religion going back 4,000 years ago that still today the people of Iran practice it in the Parsi community of India. The word Aryan, Iran, Ireland is all in the mix. Very ancient people. Persia, by the way, did warfare with the Greeks and the Romans for a long time. I guess the Persian Empire is primarily known to this day by Cyrus the Great. It is said that Zarathustra was a man of the priestly class. He was the head of the founder of this mode of religion. Some people call him the father of magic. I've been doing a lot of magic now with a K most often. YouTubes. I hesitate to try to sum up that based on just this book by Mr. Flowers, but it is probably I think it's the best thing to look into. I've looked into some other books about Zoroastrianism that go through the history. His breaks it down, and then plus when he goes into this actual doing it, it's very interesting. But I hesitate to say my take on it is it's about pure consciousness. That's what Zarathustra was into. Now, he was appalled by the ritual sacrifice and violence of the warrior class of his time. So he as a thinker, he modeled his own system, or he modified the system, in my opinion, or my take on it. Some people credit this Zoroastrianism with being the first monotheistic religion, that is one. Although there is some other deities involved, it is thought of as a dualistic one, pure consciousness. The quote-unquote from Flowers' book, the core of this prophetic insight revealed that there was one true God, identical with the principle of pure focus, intelligence, or consciousness. What are people? What's the core of people? It's consciousness. You are consciousness. You're aware. If you are unconscious, you are not aware. I was recently just reading a very obscure book, Beyond the Mavwe Zone, by Grant. And he's talking about how the lamb character the lamb figure that I was just rapping about a week ago, The letters of it had to do with consciousness, sleep. We are still be when we're in a deep sleep, but we're not aware. So there's consciousness, there is the dream state, and there is the waking conscious state, and there is the dreamless sleep. That's something for another time. Damn it. The Greek philosopher and writer historian Philonous the Elder said Zoroaster is the inventor of magic. The Magi, they were lovers of wisdom, as the Greeks were. Persian magic, witchcraft, spiritual enlightenment. Zoroastrian wisdom is, don't forget, even older than the Egyptian, to put it in perspective. And it's many years before even Plato and a lot of this Neoplatonic thought, many, many years before that, even. Certainly, Zoroastrianism has had some influence on Judaism and the vibratory powers of Kabbalah. Christianity is said to be also influenced by Zoroastrian. Very interesting. The Persians were friendly with the Jewish people, and the three wise men were Magi. Yes. Zoroaster was the founder of the magicians. And thus he contends, Mr. Flowers contends, Dr. Flowers, I guess you would say, sorry. Man, the Persian and Arabic culture are mixed. Not to oversimplify, but the god of the Zoroastrians is Ahura Mazda. And there is a serpent figure that it's dualistic in the sense that there is a evil to confront, a serpent-like deity. It is also of note the Rig Veda in India is also very old. I always mispronounce that. So they had their own kind of take on the Big Bang, apparently, if you believe that is the beginning. Symbolically, the interaction of fire and water liquid represent the reenactment of the origin of the world. Indeed. So, I mean, you could say that's a kind of a view of that. Hope you're enjoying this review so far. So, yes, Zarathustra was a priest of the Iranian Indo-European cult. He was responsible for the recitations of the verbal portions of the rituals that we did. So it was a sort of a singing, singing. Yeah, that was a way that they had done their. He was. Excuse me. I wrote this note very sloppily. He was responsible for the recitations of the verbal portions of the ritual of sacrifice. he found that type of thing to be excessive and grotesque, and he was repulsed by the abuses of the warrior class and their excessive sacrifices to the gods and goddesses and whatnot. So he pushed the idea of the pure consciousness, the Aurora Mazda. Yes. The Mazmaga was the great fellowship. His main point, the main insight, in my opinion, of his vision was that the only true and absolute Godhead is the Aurora Mazda. So this is something that had to have influence on the later Abrahamic religions, no doubt. And politically speaking, in this era, there was they were interested in putting the Shah in because he was more friendly to the Judeo-Christian. In a sense, he was thought of, at least intellectually, as a Persian. This is an idea that comes out of this book, sort of, whether he meant to or not, I forget. The Angasmanyo. I'm not see. That's why I didn't want to try to say the name of the evil deity, but it was represented by a serpent. Serpents, I guess, get a bad rap sometimes. There's a link between one of the other ideas that's brought forth. There's this world and our immediate environment, our immediate cosmic environment in the spiritual world, and the priestly class was to facilitate that link. So there was also a bridge between worlds, the Chernobyl bridge. Chernobyl bridge, kind of a light bridge, and if you did good works, you could cross into the next, but it would become thin and you would fall into the abyss. Zarathustra, of course, is also made famous by the German philosopher Nietzsche. Thus spoke Zarathustra. And the whole idea of the pure consciousness is appealing. Rather than sacrificing people and animals and stuff and to deities. So we must thank Zoroaster for this. Guess nobody's on to check this out. I hope this was. I thought this would go smoother. It's a brief dip into extremely complex subject. But again, original magic, the rituals and initiations of the Persian Magi by Stephen F. Flowers, I recommend very much if you care to take a dip into this. He also points out that they are thought of as the first astrologers by some people. They weren't exactly, but that comes from the Chaldean, I believe. But they were very, very adept at it, and that's why it is said that they traveled to the nativity of Christ. individuals are free for and responsible for the thoughts and choices they make, but the astrological charts the patterns of circumstances and predicaments a person might experience. Esoteric cosmology or Zoroastrianism. So, they are the link between the immediate cosmic environment and the supernal realm. He says, quote unquote, then the soul ascends to the upper dimensions of the earthly sphere where it approaches the Shabbat bridge. This bridge forms a link between our immediate cosmic environment and the supernal realm. So if you are judged to be more good than bad, the bridge becomes wide and your soul passes easily. So so there's definitely, you can see that it influenced the later traditions that would come. No question. He makes the point, among the so-called Abrahamic religions, there always seems to be a great division between magic and religion. They are conceived as being in stark contrast to one another. But this Zoroastrianism is, I think he's trying to make the point that it's more connected to so-called magic, the Mazda. Again, the teachings of air, water, earth, and so forth, just like in Oriental medicine and in the many, you'll notice that those teachings come again in alchemical hermeticism, Oriental magic, and these now the Wicca. That's all in the mix. Sorry, I should have been more prepared. I'm going to leave in the liner notes on the name of this book so you can go further into it. I enjoyed it. You can definitely see that it is just a high influence on the other monotheistic religions that would arise earlier. Later on, I mean, sorry. Arana Manu, I think, is the evil deity that they deal with. Arana Manu, the serpent deity. So it's definitely got the dualistic aspects. And the interaction of fire and water. I've seen this referred to, very, very basically, but as a fire religion. the cosmological doctrine of divine emanations. Zoroastrianism is at the root of Kabbalistic thinking, he says. When the Kabbalah first came under Western scholarly examination, it was seen that the Hebrews had developed their Kabbalistic ideas under Zoroastrian influence in Babylon and Palestine. The Sefer HaRazim, the Book of Mysteries. So apparently he's talking about certain influences of Kabbalah by the Mazdi, old Persian religion of Zoroastrianism. Oh, anybody out there? The Mazda. Well, that's enough of this rap. Hope you found it interesting. This is from viewer mail. Was requested, so I hope you guys liked it. I will perhaps see you on later on tonight as I talk more about obscure things. In case I wasn't very lucid during this YouTube presentation, links and comments will be included to follow up for yourselves. So you can, if you wish, pursue this line of inquiry. All right, have a good day. Stay safe, everyone. God bless.